What makes a great monster figure? Or better yet, what makes a great monster 8-inch action figure? That's what I'm sitting here on a Sunday in my museum thinking about. And guys, when I'm thinking, I'm always going to share these thoughts with you guys. What makes a great 8-inch monster figure? How do we know? What are the tangibles? What are we looking for? Articulation? Are we looking for clothing, design, head sculpt, detail? Guys, I have a massive monster figure collection, from Neca to Mego to Castaway Toys, you name it. We pretty much have it. And we're still waiting on our Wave 8 Mego action figures. But I'm down here doing some straightening up, some moving around here in the museum. And it just got me really to thinking, as I was moving and shifting all of these beautiful 8-inch action figures. What am I looking for in my quest to collect 8-inch action figures? What's the, for lack of better words, I guess, what's my guidelines? I mean, I don't know. What's your guidelines when you're looking for an 8-inch monster figure? What do you want out of that figure? Because I had to ask myself that question, especially with Wave 8 Mego figures coming out, and I was looking at a lot of the Wave 8 monster figures from Mego has really gotten a lot of attention, more negative than positive, some positive, but mostly negative. And it got me to thinking, to ask myself this question, what do you want out of, or what do I want from my Mego figures? What do I want from my Castaway toy figures? What do I want from my Neca figures? What do I want these guys, as these toy companies, to design me, to make for me? Especially if they're going to charge certain amounts of money. Some on the high end, some on the not so high end. But what do I want for my money? And it got me to looking around to different figures in my collection to try to help me with that decision. And then it just turned into something fun. I have a ton of my monsters out here in the museum, and I can kind of just look at them. I don't get a chance to kind of see them all at once because some are packed away, some are stored in different locations of the museum. So it's kind of cool just to kind of take it all in. But this video is just really about what I would like out of my action figures, monster action figures. And what have I gotten? And that's another good point of reference. What we've already received from a lot of these toy companies. And I could sit here and point that out all day. But what I will do is I want to kind of point out some of my favorites uh, in my collection as well, and for various reasons. And that most important reason being what that particular figure delivered, what that company delivered to me, what I was looking for to satisfy those needs that I wanted from this particular monster figure. We're going to start with my Castaway Toys action figure. This is the Deal Maker. And basically, long story short, the Deal Maker, I call him the Grand Slam of monster figures. Primarily because he has everything that I'm looking for. I'm looking for design. I'm looking for detail, high detail quality in clothing, accessories, overall appearance. This is a very desirable figure, very beautiful figure. Everything from his top hat with the Ace of Spades card in it, to his cane with the ruby there. His satchel here, the bottle with real glow in the dark dust there in there. The body sculpt, it's on a, I think this is a type 2, type Zyka body. It's bandless. So this figure, everything from its beautiful card art, everything, it's beautiful, it's perfect. Do I wish all of my figures could look like this to some degree, to kind of check all of those boxes? Yes, I would like to have a figure like this, all my figures, to be able to check all of my boxes. Guys, that's not reality. And we'll get into that as we switch over to Mego. But that's not reality. And let's pull this guy out. Speaking of reality, this is the Mego werewolf action figure, 8-inch action figure. It's flocked. A lot of people say that this is the best Mego werewolf that they put out, that Mego put out. I'm going to say yes to a certain degree. The very first Mego werewolf to me is it's my favorite. So I'm gonna kind of choose favorites here. So I'm gonna take myself out of the equation, but the mass majority says that the flocked Mego werewolf is the best, and it's hard to kind of go against that. He's completely flocked from head to toe, literally. Torn, tattered clothing. They really focused in on the paint work for the head sculpt, albeit it's covered, as you can see, with flocking. But this was a beautiful figure. This was a fun figure. Looking at his paws there. This was a fun figure that Mego came out with. It's fun to collect. I have multiples of this figure. If I like a figure enough, I'm going to buy multiples, and we'll get into that as well. But I think Mego got it right on this. I know Mego catches a lot of blowback because of their poor choices in figures and characters, release dates, availability in different store locations, all of that. But they really got this particular figure right. They did a fantastic job on it. we'll get into our Neca figures. Guys, for those of you who don't really have a lot of Neca monsters and characters in their collection for various reasons, whether they are expensive, maybe you just don't like Neca, or you don't like the prices, or they might just be too high end looking for you for whatever reason. But one thing is undeniable about Neca. For one, it has a ton of properties and licensing rights to big budget movies, characters, you name it, which gives them the cachet and autonomy to be able to create likenesses like no other. This is an 8-inch action figure of our It figure, Pennywise, the newer 2017 movie. The likeness of Pennywise from the movie is absolutely horrifyingly breathtaking and very accurate. I believe this is the actor's name is Bill Skarsgård. If I'm saying his name correctly. This is you can see the actor's likeness bleeding through this head sculpt. Neca, to me, hit a home run. This was quietly introduced into the Neca lineup with not a ton of fanfare, but it just shows you how in deep Neca's roster of monsters really go. And I think that this is a fantastic figure. This figure is nearly $50. So maybe that's another thing for collectors. It scares people off with that price point. I think that $50 action figure, an 8-inch action figure. But look what you get. You get 2 head sculpts. You get the balloon. You got to have the balloon. I'm going to say that's it. I thought you got some hand sculpts too, but another fun aspect of just being down here surrounded by all my monsters. And then you go to the 1990 version, Neca Pennywise. Another fantastic, fantastic figure. There's a hand, extra hand. He comes with a balloon as well. 2 head sculpts. Hey, Tim Curry, if I'm saying that name right. It's the character that played Pennywise from the 1990 made-for-TV movie that was in 3 or 4 parts. TV series. Movie TV series, I should say. But Neca got it right. There, once again, we talking about what can these toy companies give me by way of monster figures, 8-inch monster figures. Everything, head sculpt, design, clothing, detail in the clothing. And not only that, but made to scale. You can see this Pennywise figure, all of his clothing is made to scale. And it's beautifully done. Yes, it's a $30 figure, a little bit more with tax, but that's what you get. And I think that's what I'm looking for. I do like the charm. I like the charm of Mego. It's more of a dime store type of a feel to it, although they have improved upon their figures with their sculpts, their accessories, and their clothing as of late. So it's not quite the 70s style Mego figure, but you do get that feel. you know. And we go up top here. The nun, Neca did such a great job. I'll bring her down here. But Neca did such a great job on this figure. She's so scary that I don't keep her out like in the museum where I can see her. She's behind other figures, hidden away. And that's largely due in part to the fantastic work of Neca designers for these head sculpts. This head looks like it just came from the movie, right out of the movie. The design of this nun, the Conjuring universe, is fantastic. She's expensive. This one costs a little bit, around $40, a little bit more with tax. But you're getting everything. The realness of this figure, from the box art to the head sculpts, is mesmerizing. It's absolutely horrifying. That's when you know you have a fantastic 8-inch monster action figure. Neca will spoil you in this regard because they're so next level with all of their designs and, like I said, with their property licensing. It makes it tough on other toy companies to try to keep pace with Neca. They are the sideshow of the 8-inch action figure realm, and Sideshow Collectibles is the 12-inch, the 1/6 scale action figure company that designs right down to the very last detail of a character from a movie. Neca is that version, is the 8-inch action scale version of that, of Sideshow Collectibles. In my humble opinion. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section right underneath this this video. But beautiful work by Neca. We got our Halloween figures here. Let's bring Michael Myers down. I believe this is from the 2018 movie. 2017, 2018. One of the two. It's not the Rob Zombie version, though. But nevertheless, still fantastic work. Accessories. He checks all the boxes for my need for an 8-inch action figure to really appeal to me. He checks all the boxes. Nice detail in his coveralls. There's even blood on the hands. Beautiful head sculpt. And speaking of Michael Myers, I think they made one, and if I just get him here, I'm gonna have to hold him because I wish he came in a box, but that's fine. The Halloween 2 Michael Myers clamshell figure set version. This is from the 1981 Halloween movie, the part 2. This is the best head sculpt to date. This is one of the best head sculpts I've seen. And he comes with everything. This Michael Myers Neca figure checks all of the boxes that I'm looking for when I go out to purchase an 8-inch action figure monster. Bullet holes. There's a lot of battle damage to his coveralls. And then he has his hammer, his knife, the needle, syringe there, an extra hand, and another head sculpt that shows the two gunshots to the eyes. Yet blood streaming down the mask. No one has gotten this mask right since Neca. I mean, Neca came. Neca is the best. They're the only ones, to me, in my humble opinion, that got this mask right. But this is what makes this figure so fantastic. Hard to beat this guy. It really is. It's hard to beat Neca right now. They're on such a roll. We'll set him down here. I want to be careful. I don't want to. We'll move my little guy out the way here. Neca covers music as well with all the fantastic, monstrous mascots. My newest addition is my Iron Maiden, Power Slave, Pharaoh Eddie Pharaoh, or Pharaoh Eddie. Everything about this figure. Detail, extreme detail. Very expensive, well over $30. But look what you're getting. And some people say, well, you know what? Like, Mego should put more money in to sculpts, accessories, and etc., and raise the prices. Then you'll have a more quality figure. But everybody can't afford these figures, guys. Everybody, I think Mego is number one with the price point. At $14, $15 per figure, that's not bad. But yes, you're going to pay for what you get. This figure looks like it just jumped off of the Iron Maiden Power Slave album from 1984. And that's how accurate and detailed, highly detailed this figure is. So you're going to pay for that. And I completely get it. I understand it. And they have checked every box. So I don't mind paying the extra $15, $20 to acquire this beautiful figure for our museum. But make no mistake, he's very costly, he's very expensive, and everybody just can't run out, and because it adds up. Everybody can't run out and buy 2 to 3 to 4 Neca figures at $30 to $40 a pop. It's just, it becomes extremely, extremely expensive. Very expensive. So you have to tie finances in there at some point if you're a collector, and you see all these fantastic monsters that you want. And and we're looking here at Mego's version. There's Neca's version of the 1990 Pennywise, and this is Mego's version of the 1990 Pennywise figure. And I think they did a fantastic job. I said it then, and I'll say it now. For $14, you can't beat this figure. And they got to me, the expression when he's changing, morphing into this monster. He's not friendly anymore. He's morphing into this creature. So I think they got it right. Rachel Baker's seamstress ability with the clothing, she did a fantastic job. This goes back to me, the dime store charm of Mego. But you know what you're looking at. You know that this is Pennywise. It is not going to look like a Neca version of Pennywise. But they got it right. And in my book, they got it right. Your thoughts, though, guys. Did Mego get Pennywise right? Did they nail this? Do you think they could have done more? Leave your comments right underneath this video. We want to hear it. But I think they got it right. And at $14, $15, this is worth it to me. That's my opinion, guys. But we want to go to what I think is one of Mego's best monsters and probably the best monster to date right now. We have to go all the way back to the start, all the way back to 2018. And this is what you get. The Bela Lugosi 8-inch Dracula. You can't beat this guy. Beautiful head sculpt. Layers and layers of authentic, beautiful clothing. The Lugosi label, the Lugosi anything, trademark, you name it. It's so hard to get that licensing. Very difficult. Mego pulled that off somehow, some way. They were able to get the Lugosi family to kind of sign off and give permission, give rights, what have you, to produce this gorgeous, gorgeous figure. And this figure sold out immediately. We know the debacle with the Target situation, Target's website, everything was collapsing around that point in time. The scalpers were scalping this particular figure at well over $100 at one point. To this very day, this figure is very difficult to find. And if you find him on eBay, you're going to pay way more than $15. Maybe that's died off, but at my last check, it hadn't. But a beautiful figure. They redid this figure and it gave him a red lined cape. And we'll bring him up to show you that. They gave him a red lined cape. I thought that was a beautiful touch. A lot of people were clamoring and crying out for the red line cape. And Mego delivered. Same figure, same everything. Beautiful head sculpt, everything. Just a red lined cape. And I thought that was just a fantastic touch, as opposed to the gray lined cape, which is still, to me, is still my favorite. But as you can see, I have both, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Guys, your thoughts, your opinions as we talk about these fantastic action figures, these fantastic monster action figures. As I sit him back, there's just so much to talk about in so little time. We're going to try to get through it though, guys. Here is another of one of my favorites that I think Mego and their licensing rights, because once again we're talking about what can these toy companies do for me by way of satisfying me and my needs for a great figure, great price, highly detailed monster 8-inch action figure. What can they do? And Mego got it right to me. They got it right on this one, and I'll tell you why. Because of the fact, this was the second monster, I believe, that was released. This was wave 2, I believe. The Frankenstein. They did not have authorization from Universal to make the Boris Karloff, although that looks a lot like Boris Karloff to me. What do you guys think? But they did it. They got this right with what they had to go on and use to put out. They were trying to fulfill a need, and they did. How many of you guys have multiples of this Frankenstein figure in your collection? And where does he rank with the rest of your Frankensteins? Especially your Mego Frankensteins. And we want to hear all that, guys. Leave your comments right underneath this video. We want to get the chatter started. I'm off today, relaxing, hanging out with all my monsters down here in a museum. You know he came with that chain. People will say, well, what does the chain do? I don't know, but that's all he came with. So they maybe dropped the ball in that regard, but to me, he didn't have to come with any accessories. He's Frankenstein. They didn't put the electrodes here on the side of the neck, but they got everything right. Somebody said, well, he's not really green. I listen, guys, at the end of the day, we can split hairs all day, tomato, what have you. But I think they got this right. But I want to hear your thoughts on it, because they did. If I can find him, let me see if I can find him. I believe they came out with several versions. So let's bring this guy in. All right, so they cleaned him up a little bit for you guys. You didn't like the green. They gave you more of a gray, pasty gray, more of a morbid, dead person skin tone. After all, he is put together of corpses. And they show you that through all of the designs of the stitching and sutures throughout his body and face. This was affectionately known and called as the bare chest Frankenstein. Came with no shirt, but he did come with these chains and steel bands, shackles on his arms, torn pants, and then his boots. How many of you guys remember this guy? Which was the better of the two? And then they had a glow-in-the-dark Frankenstein that a lot of people really loved. He's around here somewhere. I would have to really dig through my archives to find him. But we just wanted to kind of show you that one. I thought they did a great job on it. We'll sit him back over here.